Pretty printing with Python. This module discusses pretty printing and formatting with the pprint module. You'll learn to pretty print your own classes and use recursive data structures. Then we'll see how to control depth and output width. Finally, we'll discuss the pprint pp module. Python has a pprint module that pretty prints arbitrary data structures in such a form that can be used as input to the interpreter. If the allowed width permits, it keeps the output on a single line. Let's import the pprint function from the pprint module. This pretty prints a Python object to a stream. This module has the class prettyPrinter. This handles pretty printing operations onto a stream using a set of configured parameters. These are indent, width, depth, stream, and compact. Indent specifies the amount of indentation for each recursion level. Width is the output width you need. Depth is how many levels deep to print. Stream decides the output stream to be set, the default for which is sys.stdout. And compact declares to fit as many items as fit within each output line's width. Let's take an example. Data is this list holding tuples holding dictionaries. When we print it, it prints this way. But when we pretty print it, the output seems more readable and pretty. The pformat function helps format a Python object into a pretty printed representation. This is a basic logging program. Data is that list from the previous example. We call pformat on this and call it formatted. For each line in this, we debug it while removing trailing white spaces. The first tuple fits in one line, but the second is longer, so it is split over multiple lines. We can also apply pretty printing to our own classes. For this, we use the repr method. This is class color that takes in name and hex value for objects and prints out I am name and you can find me at hex value. This is a list of 3 objects of this class, for salmon, for olive, and for purple. Print it and it prints out a list with outputs for the 3 objects. But pretty print it and you can see that it prints each on different lines. This is much more readable. Suppose we have a nested list. We can do this by appending a list to itself. This is my list and we append it to itself. My list has this ID. Pretty printing it tells us that it has a recursion on the list with the ID 4555350. This is the ID for my list. My list and my list of 4 are the same list now, thanks to recursion. The recursion keeps going. My list of 4, and my list of 4, 4 all have the same length, which is 5. Other elements have a length of 1. So while this is infinite recursion, we can choose how far to go. For that list of tuples with dictionaries, this is what we get when we go 1 level deep, 2 levels deep, and 3 levels deep. 1 level deep, we only know there are tuples in this list. 2 levels deep, we know the tuples have single numbers and dictionaries. 3 levels deep, we know what the dictionaries hold. Not just the depth, we can also control the output width, the number of columns occupied by the output. The default for this is 80, as you might be aware. If something cannot be squeezed into the desired width, a best effort is made. This is my list. Print it, you get the output in 1 line. Now print it with a width of -1. prints this. This is what it prints until the width reaches 16. Once it is 16 in our case, it now prints it all in one line. Because in this particular scenario, we have 16 characters in the output, and a width of 16 can put it all on one line. Also, the listdir function from the OS module prints the contents of the current working directory all at once. The pprint prints it one item in a line. Of course, this is more readable and easier to browse through. pprint also has a compact flag. This makes it more compact. If we print the previous thing in a rather compact manner, it prints it this way. Python has another pretty printer. This is pprint++. To use this, you'll first need to install it with pip. It doesn't directly ship with Python. Now let's import it. From this, let's use the pprint function from this and call it on our list of tuples holding dictionaries. Or you can even use the ppeasy package to do this. And that's how you pretty print with Python. Stay with us on the next one.